here's how you can reset a filter with a script. In this case, I have this filtered area on the left, and then a button on the top right to reset everything. I want it to resort everything by column A, and then get rid of the filtered items or reset the filters for columns B and D. Let's take a look how you can do that. So here's the sheet that the user provided, and what they had is a filter here, and they want this reset all button to simply get rid of the filtered criteria off of each column. So here it should select all. Here it should select all. I guess here it's a filter by color. Let's set that to none. And then they want it to sort by the default order. That's what they want to happen when they hit the reset all button. Let me undo that so we can have it back where it starts. So this is obviously going to be a script because we want a button to do something automatically. So extensions, app script, I already have it open. The first function that it auto-populates is my function. That's what it's called. Get rid of it. That's not what we're using. I'm going to make mine called reset all, or let's call it reset filter. Let's be more clear on what we're doing there. First thing I'm going to do is declare my spreadsheet. So that's going to be const sheet equals SpreadsheetApp.getActiveSheet. Now, if you have multiple sheets, you can do get sheet by name or by index. Since we only have one sheet on this file, I don't need to worry about that. Just get the active sheet. Also, since it's going to be triggered by a button, we know that button is on the only sheet, or the button is going to operate on its own sheet. So we can use get active sheet, no problem. Next, I'm going to declare the filter. One of the interesting things about a filter is that there can only be one filter on an entire sheet at a time. So let me go look here. Now I'm talking about this type of filter here, right? So if I hit remove filter, it gets rid of it. There is only one filter on this entire sheet. You cannot have a filter here and another one here operating simultaneously. One filter, which does make it easier when we're accessing it via a script because we know that sheet.getFilter, that's the only one. We don't have to loop through, we don't have to find the right range, anything like that. Now, there is an excellent, method here called removeColumnFilterCriteria. Move this down so we can actually see it. So, still can't quite see it. All right. Remove column filter criteria, and then you pass in the column position. This says the one indexed position of the column. For example, column B's index is 2, and what it does is remove the filter criteria from the specified column. That's exactly what we want. We want to look at each of the columns in the filter and remove the criterion from that column. That's what we want to do. So we're going to be using this method, and then we want to use it on each of the columns. I don't want to care whether there currently is a criterion on that column or not. We're just going to remove all of them. It's going to be a lot simpler and a lot less taxing on the script itself. If it has to check if there's a filter and then do it, just remove them all. There's no errors or anything. However, we cannot pass an array into this. So I can't just say remove filter criteria 1 through 5. Doesn't work that way. So instead, what we're going to do is loop. And I'm going to loop through each of the columns in the filter. So to do that most easily, I'm going to first declare the number of columns. So this is going to be let filterCols equals filter.getRange, and then we can get the number of columns. Now that I have that number, I can set up my for loop. Let I equals 1. Since remove column filter criteria, it said is 1 indexed. Let I equals 1. If as long as I is less than or equal to filterCols, then I plus plus. I iterate. Increment, I suppose. And then inside this for loop is where I want to do the removal. So filter.removeColumnFilterCriteria, and I'm just going to pass in I as the column number. so that as I advances through each loop, through each run of the loop, it's going to remove any filter criteria from that column. At the end, I'm going to sort it, filter.sort, and this is, again, I don't like how the IDE doesn't let us see the entire tooltip. All right, sort asks for a column position and then whether or not it's ascending. We know that we want to filter by the first column, and yes, it is going to be ascending, which is 1 through 10, or A to Z. So that's going to be column 1. Ascending is true. So let's give that a try. I'm going to run it from here first, and then if it works, we're going to undo it and apply it to the button. So let's run it. Execution completed. Okay, perfect. So it took off the filter criteria from column B and from D, and then it sorted it in order by column A. And now we can apply that to the button. So I'm going to right click, going to click on the button, click these 3 dots on the top right, assign script. For this, you literally just give the name. So this one we named resetFilter. We do not pass in the parentheses or any parameters. It's just the name. So let's go ahead and sort this Z to A. Let's only get blanks. And let's only get the color green. Okay, so here's what I have as this filtered area. And now I'm going to click my button, and hopefully this works to take off both filter column criterias and sort by column A. It says it's running, and you can actually see that it did it in order. So let's do that one more time. So it's going left to right, and it allowed all the names first, and then it allowed the quantities, and then it did the sort in the correct order. So the script is relatively straightforward. I really like that there's this removeColumnFilterCriteria method that we can call on the filter function. And of course, the fact that there's only one filter active on a sheet at any given time means that we don't have to find the correct one. Just call it, remove the criteria from each column, and then if you want it sorted a particular way, you can sort it at the end as well. I really hope this helped.